All right, Coach, let's get it started.
Let's go.
Start one, bench one, cut one. We've got Friday Night Lights, Varsity Blues, and Any Given Sunday.
Start one, bench one,
Bench one.
and cut one.
Correct.
Ooh. Okay, let's go with my starter. Out
Okay.
of those three, that's tough. Those are all good.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we had a movie theme going on and a lot of people talking about it, and there was a lot of good movies. I'm like, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
But out of those three, I'd probably say Friday Night Lights is my starter.
Okay. All right.
It's just I'm a West Texas boy. I actually coached at Midland Lee, so that little Permian.
Yeah.
It's just a cool movie. Let's see. I'd probably have to bench Varsity Blues.
Okay.
And then I'd have to cut Any Given Sunday, which Any Given Sunday is a good football movie. But it gets a little, unrealistic there. Eyeballs laying on the middle of the field and stuff. But
Yeah.
both of them are good, though.
Yeah.
They're real good.
Okay.
So,
Good deal. Yeah. A lot of people were saying Any Given Sunday, number one.
yeah, it's
movie.
good. It's real good. Yeah, Willie Beeman.
I got to dive in a little bit into some of the things that I did see. I saw Waterboy, best football movie ever. I feel like that's a stretch and a half.
It's funny. It's probably maybe
is.
up there as one of the funniest football movies. Yeah, it's up there. But yeah, The Longest Yard. I heard there was some of the old school movies too, like there were several of them. But I was like, yeah, those are old school movies. But
Yeah.
they're all really good.
Absolutely. All right, guys, welcome to the podcast, All Sports Best Podcast, here with head coach Cale Sanders. And today we're going to get started with the first question I've got for you going into week 5, actually, against Roswell High. Kind of a general question. What's the biggest misconception, would you say, about football or playing football? If you're trying to get somebody to come and play and they're like, well, I don't know, what would you say is a misconception?
We get a lot of people that, and I wouldn't say it's the players, but maybe a lot of parents are like, kids are going to get hurt.
Okay.
Don't play football. You're going to get hurt, or don't play because you're a baseball guy, and I don't want you to get hurt.
Right.
And injuries is part of the game. It's a violent game, so we do have injuries, and it does happen. But you also can get injured, walking down the stairs at school. So. I'm not comparing those two by any means, but yeah, that's probably the biggest aha that I get from misconception. I guess is you're just going to get hurt if you play football.
Just no matter what, pretty
no,
much.
Yeah, and the likelihood of you getting hurt is probably eventually if you play a long career and you're actually in the mix and you're rocking and rolling, you're probably going to get dinged up some.
Sure.
But yeah, that's probably it.
So okay, we watched Colorado. College football, most exciting team in college football. I'd have to say it. That's where I'm at with it. 2-0. But as a football guy and as a coach, what would you want your team to take away from that team? There's a lot of different things they're pulling out, right? The swagger, getting penalties sometimes just for kind of taking helmets off, knowing what they're doing, but still being successful. So there's good and bad. What do you take away, and what do you say, let's not do that?
Yeah, that's Dion's MO though, right? So that's kind of that's how he's gonna, run his program, real loose, real open, real, flamboyant.
Sure.
I can't say I'm like that. I do like to have the kids loose and ready to rock and roll. But I don't have a walkout song, I can't dance.
Yeah.
So, but
you don't have theme music.
Yeah, but I do like the fact that he took was a 1-9 team, and basically gutted it. And what's impressive is, and in college football is like this, it's hard to get guys from everywhere, all over the world or all over the United States, and get them together and have them gel as a football team because. That team will do good, and they're not no Georgia, they're not in Alabama, but they're going to win some football games, and they're good. And he's done a really good job of keeping those guys together and playing together. And for whatever their rallying point is, maybe it's the the locker room song, but whatever it is, they're playing together. So I think that's as far as my take to my team is we got to find that that rallying point, that carrot that we're chasing, and whatever that is, and our guys have to come together and play like that. And they're going to have their trials and tribulations, and so will Colorado. So
I think
we'll be all right, though.
So so on the flip side, things you tell them maybe not to do, maybe not risk penalties.
Yeah,
for
the
fun.
penalties are big, right?
Yeah.
So that's the, and we've been really good as a team as far as taking care of, the extracurricular activities or the language or, playing after the whistle, stuff like that, and I just tell them that's not us. That's not what we do. We help somebody up, we're not going to cheer and flex over somebody. I had a conversation with the JV kids the other day that we had a couple kids down, and one of our kids kind of celebrated too loud. You know how a JV game is; you can hear everything.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation over that. Like, hey, that's not what we do. That's not how we act. That's not respecting the game. That's not respecting the sport. Kind of back to what our conversation was last week about pet peeves: is respecting the game and your opponents.
Yeah.
And that's just not us. So so for us, it's just we're not going to do that kind of stuff because we're not that good to put ourselves behind the chains as far as that goes, or giving somebody an extra down or giving them a first down or all those little penalties. They're killer, man.
Yeah. All right, we expected Clovis to be better than their record, right? 0-3 coming into this game. Did they exceed even those expectations of being pretty good?
No.
Really?
No, not really. I don't think they exceeded those expectations. I kind of knew what kind of football team they were. I knew if we didn't come out and play our game and do what we supposed to do, then there was a chance that they did what they did to us, and they did it. And we didn't get off the bus. We didn't get off the bus. We made some silly mistakes as far as that first half of. The first drive, we got out to, we got the ball, we drove to about midfield, and we went for it on 4th and 1, which I'd do it again. Being aggressive, first drive, it's early, we're midfield, I'm not too worried about it. And 4th and 1, we don't get it. We got to keep that drive going. Yeah. And then we have 2 big time special team errors, gave them a short field. You can't spot people points. Can't spot people, fill positions, and expect to win. Like we're not good enough. There's not a lot of football teams in the state of New Mexico, or period, that are good enough to spot people 21 points. So that's just us. I don't think we had a horrible week of practice. It wasn't the greatest week of practice, but I just think something about the travel. I don't know. Whether mix something up, maybe change the walkout times, or there's always little tweaks, and you always think as a coach, like, what did I do wrong, or did we come out too early, or there was a pregame meal wrong? Did we do? We stopped and ate, and wrong. I mean, did we do that wrong? Was there something wrong with that? Which I didn't feel like it. I just, you can kind of get that feeling sometimes when you get to the game or get to the field or start to warm up. You can kind of tell, like, are these kids ready to roll, or are they just kind of here? And I never felt that feeling of like we're fixing to play football. Sure. And I think we did a really good job at half, kind of settling them down, getting back into our stuff. We made a couple little adjustments, and second half we came out and we won the second half, and we did pretty much whatever we wanted to do, and we still had a lot of mistakes, but with a team like that, a triple option team that eats clock and drives the ball and keeps your offense off the field. Man, it's hard to do. So, it's hard to come back against people like that. We only had 42 offensive plays again. So, that's – and this one's not one of those ones where it's offense lost the game, defense lost the game. I think we both had our boo-boos. So, it's a collective, special teams especially. It was a collective loss. And I hate to see it because when you're looking at it, you're like, okay, well, that doesn't hurt us. But, it does hurt us. Yeah, down the road in the win-loss columns when they start talking about playoffs, and that was a game we should have won. We should be sitting at 2-2. So we just made it a uphill battle. It made some of those district games extremely important.
How do you spark your team going into this week? You said practice was okay. It wasn't bad, but how do you improve that or make them feel like, let's give 10% more this week or 50, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just talking to them. I think it's getting your leaders to lead. I tell the guys all the time, it's one of those deals where if I lead this team, we're going to be mediocre. If it's a player-driven, leadership, then, we're going to be a good team. Okay. And so I can't do it. I can't artificially make that happen. No, you can't. It has to be genuine. It has to be real. And our kids want it. That's not the problem, So it might have just been a preparation deal. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, the moon could have been in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
If you ever figure that out, you're going to be a Hall of Fame coach because there's really no formula to figuring that stuff out.
Right.
So I'm just going to chalk it up as a growing pains.
Okay.
And rock and roll, and just say, hey guys, you just put your back against the wall, man. You're gonna have to fight it out now. So we still have a wide open district.
Yeah.
Hobbs lost to Lovington. Oregon Mountain's down. Alamo's doing good right now. I think they're suspects to who they're playing. They got Capital and Gadsden and stuff. So I don't think they've been truly tested. Las Cruces, I've heard, is kind of down. I haven't watched much film on them yet, but Centennial's tough. I do know Centennial. They're always going to be tough.
Yeah.
But so our district's still wide open. So don't close the book on us yet because it's far from over.
Okay. 15 catches on 21 attempts, 0 interceptions. A good day in the passing game. What is developing on the offensive side of the ball?
I think we're getting confidence in a little bit of everything. So, kind of when we came into the season, I wanted to, pound the football, hit the play action when we needed to, and put the ball in the air more than we did last year, but still kind of hang our hat on we're going to be able to just line up and shove it down your throat. And we just physically we can't do that. We don't have the guys up front. Now, don't get me wrong, they're good guys. We just can't do what I would like us to do. Yeah. And so we're having to kind of tweak our game plans a little bit. And that's kind of, when I think of those little short passing games and stuff like that, to me, that's not passing game. That's an outside run. It's kind of that West Coast outside toss run type. Okay. Just replace the outside run with your short passing game. So that's why, his numbers are decent. So
Okay. Mendoza, Castaneda, and Sandoval make up 87% of total yards. Do you ever feel like teams will key in on that and we have to work in other playmakers?
Yes and no. Yes, because those dudes are the three dudes. Compared to what we had last year, it was one. It was, and Yuli, did his fair share last year too, but it was, it was Eli doing this or Yuli doing this, and the book was pretty easy to read. And I didn't really care. I said, it didn't bother me that you knew what we were going to do. We're still going to do it. And that's the kind of attitude I like to have, but we don't have that team this year, and that's okay. But yeah, so they're going to pick up. They're going to start doubling Bobby. They're going to, and that's why I think Ian's going to have to really step his game up in the next couple of weeks because I think Bobby's going to get a lot of attention, rightfully so. He's dangerous, and so Ian is just as dangerous. He just hasn't been, exposed as much as. So I'm excited for him to get more involved in the game plan.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to give you a word, and I want you to allocate it to a coach on your team.
Okay.
If it applies.
Okay.
Energetic.
Oh. Energetic. I was trying to think of the best one. Probably Widener.
Okay.
Probably Widener. He gets a little wound up. Yeah. So it's pretty comical, but yeah, he's probably the guy that gets the most wound up.
Okay. Loud.
Ooh. I might be the loud one.
You're the loud one? Okay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm probably the loud one. And I try not to be. Like, I seriously tell myself, don't just, today you're going to be, and then I'll see something, like, blow it out of the hook. But,
sure.
Yeah, so that's probably me. I don't even think I'm that loud. I don't have that boom. Like, Sukup had that booming voice. I don't have it.
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of hear it now when I'm scratchy. I'll be scratchy till November. So.
Clean cut.
Oh, that's Eladio. Coach Saldana.
Okay.
Coach Saldana.
He's
always looking
up.
good. Yeah, you never know. His next wife might walk through the door.
I remember actually seeing him at a coach's party, and everybody just comes right after practice. He went home,
take a shower,
cologned up, and he was fresh.
Yeah, he's our GQ guy.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Unfiltered.
Oh, that's probably Millar.
Okay.
Coach Millar. Yeah, sometimes he says stuff. It's funny, but it's like, oh wait. But I think you can put Widener in that spot too. That they could probably share that role.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then comedic.
Oh, comedic.
Who's got the jokes?
That's probably me.
Okay.
That's probably me too. That's I say stuff. I quick-witted and always jacking. And that's kind of how I deal with the kids too. We get on them and we're hard on them and we expect great things from them. But I always joke around with them too.
You gotta have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so we're going into week 5 against the 4-0 Roswell High. A high-performing offense. I was looking at their numbers. They have scored, I think, over 30 every game, more in the 40s.
Yeah.
How are we going to slow them down?
It's tough. They're a to be brutally honest, they're a better football team than Artesia. They probably won't get Artesia because I think there's a mental block or something there with Jeff and the Artesia Bulldogs. But I just looking at them on film, I think they're more physical. They're gritty kids. They're just Roswell. They remind me of the old Goddard kids, and half of them are the old Goddard kids. The Goddard's number, they're all going over there and playing for Jeff now. But yeah, to me, like they're all around. And what they've done really good. Jeff's done a great job. Is he's built a culture over there, and he's got kids out, and they truly have 60 or so kids in each class. And this varsity football team, if you look at Max Preps and look at the classifications, there's not a sophomore on the roster.
Wow.
He has a completely separate sophomore team that plays their JV schedule. So he's got that program rolling, and it's not, they don't rebuild, they reload. And I think those kids they do a really good job in the weight room. And Jeff's he's one of the best coaches in New Mexico, if you ask me. Like him and Coach Ridenauer and those guys like that back in the day. And he's done a really good job, and he deserves every ounce of credit he can get. But, yeah, it's going to be tough. Slowing those guys down, Coach Widener's a big tendency guy. I think we got some stuff,
Okay.
But the thing is we just, we're kind of a bend and don't break. We got to get some – we're going to have to get some stuff go our way. We're going to have to get some turnovers, some fumbles. We have to, maybe catch them getting off the bus not very good like we did at Clovis it'd be excellent, So
yeah.
We'll see, though. I mean, like I said, it's going to be a really good state championship game in 5A.
And you think it's going to be Roswell Artesia?
If Albuquerque doesn't do what Albuquerque does and put them on the same side of the bracket, those two will be in the state championship game.
Okay. All right. It's been a high-level schedule so far. I feel like you guys still have, a road ahead of you. Like I said, Roswell coming up, right?
Yeah.
Alamogordo, you said, is looking pretty good as far as the schedule or as far as the record goes. But how do you get your guys locked in and loaded for, that mental block that might be there?
So we told them after that game, we did actually on Sunday, we came in, we fed them, we lifted them, and we watched film. And I said, this is the last time we're going to look at it, last time we're going to talk about it. Eat it, digest it, throw it away. It's done. It's over, right? So we're moving on to Roswell High. And then moving on to Alamogordo. We'll get a bye week. That'll be good after this week. So,
yeah.
I just tell our kids is, the road's ahead. So don't quit on me now. Don't think it's over. Don't bury your head in the sand. Just keep rolling because we still got a lot of football to play, and the stuff that's important is coming up. So it's just keeping them. Hey, we still got a chance. We still got a chance. And we do. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke. Like, it truly is. So, I just keeping them aware of, how all this things works and, how the polls work and how the playoffs work and, all that stuff. And just keeping them, educated that, hey, there's still a chance. Like, we're not even in the part of the season where we should be even thinking about it, right? We should be getting prepped and ready to go for the district. And if we end up – getting, say we get second in the district, I mean, we'll be in, and there's a chance being third in the district, we're still in,
Wow.
So
Okay.
we were third in the district last year and we still got in. So, of course that puts you in a bad spot. But I'd rather be in a bad spot than, absolutely.
Not in it at all. Yeah, no, for sure.
So
cool. So I was thinking also if you are to get another win, you guys had a win, you have one win under your belt. How do you celebrate that? What do you guys do to kind of show, the boys, hey, congrats, good job. We're not having practice, we're eating or doing something. What is that thing, if anything?
No, it's not much. We don't do a whole lot. The kids did a really cool thing for me when I won my first one, and when I walked in the locker room, they they exploded. They all had water, and it was a cool feeling. It was good, and the kids did good. And we kind of did that a little bit last year with stuff. But, yeah, we just kind of let them have that night, and then, of course, we give them off all day Saturday. So, they don't have anything to do on Saturdays. And that's a twofold deal. It's rest. If you bring them up Saturday morning, they're banged up, they're banged up, they're tired. You don't get a lot out of them. The film session's not good. If you try to lift or something, it's kind of, So, let them rest. Let them, last year we had a bunch of kids visiting colleges and doing stuff like that, which we don't have that. But a lot of those, that's a good time to go to Eastern and catch a game, or go to New Mexico State and watch a game. Or if you get invited somewhere, you have the opportunity to go and hang out for the day. Sure. So, and then we, coaches work. Sometimes we work from our house, laying in bed, watching college football with our laptop. But, we're back up there on Sundays. And then we bring the kids up Sunday night. So that's their time. So we bring them up Sunday night, we feed them, we film them, and then we work them out. Okay. So we pulled ties yesterday, though. Oh, okay. Yeah, I did the dust.
We had some things that we needed to get out. Huh?
Yeah. and they responded well yesterday.
So I had a question. I saw a kind of like a breakdown on the internet, and it's talking about Texas beat Alabama, right? And the thought behind it is that Alabama and their championship runs and their dynasty's over now. And what brought it down, possibly, and you could disagree, but is the transfer portal. Nick Saban was able to harbor all of the top recruits. Now they're benched, they'll move, they'll leave, and create teams that are really good to face against him. Do you feel like that's something that the transfer portal might be doing in football?
Well, to go back, I don't think Alabama's done. Okay. And I'm a Longhorn fan, so.
Okay. Well, congrats then.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked, right? That was like the first 10-plus point they have had 20 years or something that Alabama had at home. So I was proud of the Horns. They did good. But the transfer portal is definitely changing football. Yeah. It's definitely doing something, right? I mean, you couldn't do what Dion does at Colorado without the transfer portal. And
exactly.
And the NIL deals, the NIL deals are so. It's all the collective stuff, right? When the school or the big boosters are bringing in that money, and then they're paying their kids for the whole team. Like it's pay to play, man. It's who's got the biggest donor. So you're going to see this massive change in college football to, it's going to be one big Power five or six schools that are, the guys that got the check, the Georgias and the Tennessees and the Alabamas, they'll be right there. Alabama's not going to let that cause them to go out of the limelight. Okay. If they need to get money, I guarantee it. They can, there's
he's the highest paid coach. So
yeah, Alabama's going to be just fine. Yeah. They'll be just fine. Yeah. It's what's crazy is he loses one game and
it's
the sky's falling. Yeah, the sky's falling. Yeah. No, they ain't going anywhere. So, but you got teams like Texas, which when you look at Texas and how they do, they got more money than anybody. Mm-hmm. They're up there. They should be putting out. They don't know what to do. They're in the top four. I'm a diehard Longhorn fan, but they tend to not finish sometimes.
Sure.
Ever since Vince left, should have never got rid of Mac.
That was my favorite national championship.
It was one of the greatest. Far. That and the this might be another little deal, but the greatest college football game. It's that one or it's Oklahoma Boise State. Okay. The Fiesta Bowl. When they were doing the
just a
double
shootout.
Reverse. Yeah, I don't know what year it was, but it was a great game. If you know what I'm talking about, it was one of the greatest college football games. But here, come on, comment section. It's fixing to get
right. No, exactly. So kind of talking about college football, NFL, all that stuff. It's all rolling now. Is there anybody that you talk to the boys about and say, look, I want you to look at this guy, see how he works, see how he carries himself? Are there anybody, up and then at the next level or beyond, and that you go, look at this guy and kind of learn from him?
No, but it's funny that you say that because I saw something the other day, and we might be spoiling it, but I'll probably show it to him before this is out. But I don't know if you're familiar with the story of Terrell Davis, Hall of Fame running back for Denver. So when he came into the league his rookie year, he came in and there was 4 or 5 guys in front of him. Okay. went through camp, wasn't getting any reps, really wasn't doing nothing, wasn't even on the depth chart. And reminder, this is a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So they play a preseason game in there in China or Tokyo or something like that. And he just had enough. He's like, I'm done. I'm quitting. I can't take this. This is not for me. So he actually tries to get a flight home because he was done.
Really?
Yeah. So he tries to get a flight home. He calls the front desk or something or someone to get a ticket to go home. Well, he can't communicate with them because they're speaking foreign language. So he's like, well, never mind. I'll just hang out. I'll go to the game, and then when I get home, I'll quit. Well, they go to the game, third quarter. He still hadn't got any playing time. They don't even know his name. And they were like, well, hey, Davis, go run down on kickoff. Well, he gets on kickoff. They kick it deep, and he runs down there and just lights the dude up. And they were like, holy cow, who's this guy? You know?
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, he's a running back. We're like, hey, give him the chance. Give him the ball. See what he can do. And he started ticking off, 8 yards here, 10 yards there. And then it led to Hall of Fame career. So I would like to show that to my kids and that story. Because, you got a lot of guys that are like, oh, I'm not getting to do nothing. Or, man, it only takes that one little play or one special teams deal. Or, I always tell the kids, work while you wait. So you never know when that chance, because, we got some of our kids, man, they don't get very many chances. So when you get a chance, man, if you show some light, then we're gonna give you another shot. And it's just pretty crazy. That's a Hall of Fame dude, and he was running down on kickoff. That's how he got noticed. So
that's wild.
Yeah, it's a cool story. And someone told me that there was like a 30 for 30 or a football life on that that whole thing, but okay. I hadn't seen that. I just saw it. It was on YouTube, or it was on. I probably won't hold it 2 o'clock in the morning somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I did have one question from somebody that listens. A shout out to Jeffrey Mathis, who actually posed this question. How do you feel like the community here in Carlsbad's taking you as a head coach this year as it's your first time around?
I haven't seen anything negative, and of course I'm not going to please everybody, and it's impossible to do that. And of course every play call I make, someone's got a better play call. Everyone can do my job better than me. But really, I haven't seen anything. I think it's been really good. I think, I think what we do with our kids as far as getting them in the community, the High Five Fridays and stuff like that, at the end of the day, the public's going to judge me on wins and losses. That's just what it is. I mean, that's of being a football coach. And there's going to be boo birds in the stands, and they're going to tell me that they don't like this and they don't like that. And I just welcome them to, apply for my job and just make sure I'm on the schedule. I'd love to play you. And, it's a lot easier saying stuff than it is actually doing what we do. And it's tough and it's hard. And we make mistakes, man. We do. We put people in the wrong spot, or we make the wrong call, or, it's human nature. But
absolutely.
Honestly, they've been really good. I think that, like I said, at the end of the day, I take it as you give me your kid when he's a freshman, and when he's a senior, I'm going to hand you back a man. And that ultimately, at the end of the day, if that's what I do, I've done my job. And
absolutely, I agree.
And sometimes that's hard to judge or grade until 10 years down the road, when that kid's a dad, and the kid's sending you a picture of his firstborn, or you get invited to a wedding or invited to be in a wedding, so that's when you've done a good job. So that's, at the end of the day, that's my job. The X's and O's, they're a byproduct of it, but winning is crazy important, and that's part of it. So,
absolutely. Well, thanks, Coach. Appreciate you, and we'll get back after it next week. Good luck this weekend.
All right, appreciate it, man.